What's up, people? This is Sea Life Literal, T Files. I'm about to do a piece from my first book, The Language of Language, available on Amazon and Barnes& Noble website. This piece is called Dope Boy Death, and I wrote this when the saying Dope Boy Fresh was coming out to give an alternative point of view. Here's a little story I have to tell about a boy who grew up and worked the trap for sales, who would find himself dead or trapped in cells, but to try to get ahead he chose the path towards hell. Lived the life of Al Pacino role, but the climax to his ending couldn't be more cold. They called him Mr. Planners, he's a nut with the cane, but he ended up in the casket being stuck in the game. Once upon never in any ghetto you could name was a youngster infatuated with dealing cocaine. You know the life portrayed, fine women, gold chains, fine linens, more fame, blind ambition, no shame. He was blessed with speech, could have been blessed to preach. Everything he needed was just in reach. He could have kept the peace, instead he kept the peace. Wanted to play like the Curbs, stay connected to the streets. To be king of the hill was his only life necessity. He was proud to sell cocaine and cocaine accessories. Every hood stereotype, let's call him Magnavox. All he knew was being loud and pumping bass through the block. Started building clout, couldn't show his face a lot. Pulled his mag on the cops, got ran off his spot. Dreams of rings and a big caddy. Only the team, but he's the city's big daddy. Had the cane raw, there was no half-stepping. Showed disdain for the law, shooting then asked questions. King of the concrete jungle, he was off a male lion. He couldn't help but be followed by his tails. The greatest man alive in the world he's living in. Sold 3 times dope for the funky dividends. A menace with his business, they called him Old Dog cause he always had cane near. And with the money and the power then came fear and jealousy. Thoughts were running through his head, and now they got him running from the feds. His game was like snow. Haters shook salt to break it up, because if they didn't, they stay stuck. But he's just trying to make a buck. To make a long story tolerable, he ended up where nobody talks about him no more. On the morgue's table. The Lord would have forgave him, but he chased dead politicians and his own boys slayed him. The street fighters could not see him, so they pointed more arms at him than thou see him. When he looked down the face of the barrel, you saw fear in his eyes like Cain, cousin Harold. And when they asked him why, they said, am I my brother's keeper? He sold Cain, so no one was able to reach him. There's no arrangements, just arrangements for his funeral. But that's the side of the game they don't want you to know, and now his legacy is some spray paint on the wall, a mother without a son, a fatherless child in a race he never could have won, a statistic of a violent death. And that's why nothing about being a dope boy is fresh. Dope Boy's Death. From the book, The Language of Language, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million, eBay. Check it out. Peace.